Hello, everyone. Welcome to our CAA and AMA Holland America information session. Thank you so much for joining wherever you're tuning in from this evening. I really appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your day to join us. My name's Tom, and I represent Holland America here in Canada. I'm speaking to you from a very slushy North Vancouver. Today it was rain. Now the rain's turned into slush. I know for many of you, we're wimps out in this part of Canada, but it's a little bit interesting for us today. Anyhow, we're going to talk about Holland America. We are going to spend the next 40 minutes or so exploring some itineraries, some new itineraries. We're going to share some of the wonderful offerings when it comes to our legendary voyages. We're going to talk about some of the incredible exclusives that you have access to as CAA and AMA members. There are some incredible offerings when it comes to exclusive cruise pricing that CAA and AMA have for you, and that applies to all of the sailings you're going to see. And on some of them, you're going to see some extra bonus goodies as well. I'll talk all about that as we go through. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite itineraries, some of the new releases. I know that we are joined today by some folks who have not cruised with Holland America before, maybe some even that haven't cruised at all, but there are a few on the call today I know that haven't cruised with Holland America, and hopefully you're going to get a picture of what the experience is like. We're going to try and paint a picture and give you a flavor of the experience. I know also there's a number of you that have cruised with Holland America and are dedicated mariners and sail with Holland America. We are kindred spirits. I not only work for Holland America, but I've sailed Holland America for many years. I used to work on board Holland America ships sailing around the world. I even met my wife on board Holland America ship. We named our kids after Holland America ships. Little Ziderdam is 9 and Noordam is 11. That is a bad joke, by the way, but we do call them the damn kids. It's got a nice ring to it. Anyhow, enough with the silliness. I'm just happy that you're all here to join me. We're going to go ahead and kind of get started with that, kind of painting a picture of the experience, first of all. I think a nice place to start is to talk about three things that you will hear quite often when Holland America is described, and that is that we're a cruise line for explorers, foodies, and music lovers. I think we're all each of those things to varying degrees. If you were to create kind of a Venn diagram, we all fit into those categories in one way or another. That's something we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about. But I think with Holland America, it has to start with one aspect that for me is the most important, the fundamental, the backbone of everything we do, and that is our incredible crew. Our incredible crew members, a true global family who win hearts and minds and put smiles on the faces of our guests wherever we sail 365 days a year to every continent. I have to mention our crew first and foremostly. The second key factor with Holland America, it's the size of our ships. We call them perfectly sized. You may refer to them as mid-sized. That's true as well. Although these days there are some cruise lines that are much bigger by multiples of a multitude of thousands of guests, in fact larger than Holland America ships that still call themselves mid-sized. We don't call ourselves mid-sized, we call ourselves perfectly sized. By the way, this picture didn't actually happen in real life. We have not had all 11 ships, all 11 sisters together for a photo, for a team photo. It'll be great if the captains could arrange that. It's yet to happen, but it looks pretty cool. Yeah, we call our ships perfectly sized because it's this wonderful kind of middle ground that we occupy, where you have one end of the cruise industry where you hear about those incredible mega ships out there that are built, incredible feats of engineering, where there are ships that are built with 6,000-7,000 guests on board, and then at the other end, tiny boutique ships. We're in that middle ground. We have folks who have only cruised on those big ships. They come and find Holland America, and they just love the extra space. The fact that there are fewer crowds, they don't have those lines that they're accustomed to. That wonderful open deck space, the extra space in the staterooms and public areas. Also, folks find us from those tiny boutique ships, usually because they see a very cool itinerary. They're itinerary hunters, and they find Holland America, and then they still have those touches of luxury they're accustomed to, and now they have more variety when it comes to entertainment and culinary and so on and so forth. That's a long description. If I had to sum it up in one image, I think I'd choose this one. It's a little bit cheeky. It's my attempt at AI, but the Goldilocks proverb really says it all when it comes to the size of Holland America ships. Who's sailing with us? We have folks who are sailing to their kind of bucket list destinations for that once in a lifetime trip. We also have folks where it's really as simple as them just saying, hey, do you know what? We're not going to do the dishes that week of that month. We're just going to jump on a ship, sail to Alaska with some friends. We're going to enjoy the live music, BB King's Blues Club right here, eat some great food, and have a wonderful time with family and friends. We also have a lot of celebrations on board, anniversaries, girls' getaways, family reunions, those groups where the kids come along. We're not known on all our cruises for having a lot of younger cruisers, but when it's that time of year when the schools are out, Christmas, spring break, summer holidays, we'll have quite a few younger cruisers. It won't be thousands, but maybe 100 or so. And it's a great time, or it's a great time of year, and it's a great opportunity to bring the whole family together. The kids have a great time in Club Hal, our kids club. That's what we do. We take our kids with us, and they go and have fun, and we all come together in the evening and swap stories. And you bring the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, the next door neighbor, bring the whole crew, speak with your AMA or CAA travel counselor for information on how to do that. It is so much fun when you take the whole family. Okay, let's talk a little bit about those things I mentioned at the beginning. The fact we're a cruise line for explorers. What do I mean by this? Well, we have a depth and breadth of itineraries that's pretty much unmatched. It's not just about having the number of sailings, a high number of sailings, because that's really not that exciting if a lot of those sailings are the same, just a repetition of the same. It's about having the variety as well as the number of sailings. We really have both. We've also been doing it quite a long time. We've celebrated recently 153 years, which is incredible. And in that time, we've learned a thing or two, how to tweak an itinerary to maximize things like scenic cruising. Also, when it comes to our relationships with nations and ports around the globe, maritime authorities, we have relationships that are alive and well that we've established over multiple decades, which allows us to have premium access and dock alongside in key locations. For example, you could step out into a town square, into the plaza, and be there in the beating heart and soul of a particular port and look out at the horizon and see another cruise line, another ship way off in the distance, docked at a container port. That's not what we do. We try and give you that priority and that premium berthing experience. Something else we're also keen on is to give you access to far-flung destinations conveniently. We have a lot of home port sailings. Home port sailings in the cruise world typically refer to sailings that are just 7 days, 4 or 5 days, 7 days from a North American home port. We have 7-day sailings from home ports in North America. However, what we do is lean into longer sailings. So it gives you the convenience of embarking and or disembarking conveniently at a North American home port, but still reaching destinations like Iceland, all the way down through the South Pacific, Australia, down around South America, out to the Mediterranean. I'll show you some of these, but it's that convenience and exploration in the kind of the same voyage that's attracted so many guests, especially over the last few years since we've seen that uptick in longer cruises for many of our guests. I mentioned food, and I think we're all foodies to varying degrees. There's something unique about Holland America. Again, goes back to the fact we occupy that middle ground where you see those very large ships out there in the cruise world. They may have one dining room where it's a similar menu every day, and then 15, 20 paid options to navigate. At the other small end, you've got tiny ship with maybe 1 or 2 dining options. We're neither of those. You have the classic dining room experience, fresh menu items every day, and then 2, 3, or 4, depending on the ship, exclusive specialty paid venues to enjoy, which in many cases come included in the fare. I'll explain how as we wrap up. And then you have other complimentary options, wonderful options, things like handmade pizza at our New York Deli and Pizza, made to order burgers poolside, dive in. You can order in the app and it's handmade. Complimentary room service, the incredible Grand Dutch Cafe. So many cool things when it comes to culinary, and fresh bread made on board as well. A lot of folks love our fresh bread made on board. Let's talk about some of the activities. One thing you'll hear us talk about right out of the gates is the live music. We've become known as the cruise line for the best live music at sea, and this comes down to the fact that we moved away from the kind of tried and tested lounge hopping cruise ship musician model. We moved away from that quite a few years ago. And instead, we have professional, best in class entertainers who are the true professionals in their genre, playing in purpose-built venues, acoustically engineered for that particular style, that particular offering. Case in point, right here, BB King's Blues Club. They are playing everything from that classic Motown all the way through to modern hits, Bruno Mars, Beyonce, you name it, back to Chuck Berry, throw in some disco and that classic Memphis blues as well. They get the crowd on their feet every night. Then you've got Billboard on board. This is dueling pianos, a big, expansive lounge, not one of those sardine tin piano lounges. Wonderful, expansive lounge. Rolling Stone Rock Room, as soon as Billboard on board play their last note of that set, because they'll have multiple sets during the evening, Rolling Stone Rock Room will strike up 1, 2, 3 count straight into classic rock hits of the 60s, 70s, 80s across the way. We've also recently reintroduced our classical strings as well as a jazz pop trio on some of our ships. Music, music, music. It's like a night out on the town. When it comes to some of the other activities, we are very excited to announce that we now have live entertainment in our world stage every night of the cruise. That could be any one of those types of offerings that you see there listed. When it comes to the activities, pickleball is all the rage. We are the official PPA cruise line, National Pickleball Association. If you have friends, family, anyone you know who plays pickleball, let them know about Cruising with Holland America. It's an entire community in itself. It's lots of fun to drop in, learn to play. Lots of pickleball players are sailing with us, and that goes along with many other offerings. Lots to do on board wherever we sail. But within all of this, we don't lose sight of the traditions, because for all of us, if you were to ask, I'd love to be able to do it. We don't have time. If I was to ask everyone on the call today what their ideal day at sea would look like, you would all give me a different answer to some degree. For some of you, it might be that height. For some of you, it might be the 5 o'clock somewhere cocktail. For others, it might be bingo or trivia. For others, it's that walk around the promenade, which we have on every ship. You go all the way around that promenade, deck 3, or the after dinner mint service, the big orange party we have once a cruise as a nod to our Dutch heritage. So many traditions are important to so many of us. We definitely don't lose sight of those. When it comes to the ship and the ships themselves, I would love to give you a full virtual tour. I don't have time to do that, but what I will do is give you a little sneak peek at some of my favorite venues. Up in the crow's nest on the top left, that's the games room. Also, we have the arts and crafts center up in the crow's nest as well. Grand Dutch Cafe. That is a great spot to grab a coffee and just enjoy the hubbub of the ship. It's their central location, serving classic Dutch treats and crepes, coffees, teas served on Royal Delft earthenware, classic Dutch lagers and Trappist beers as well. Lots of delicious stuff. The incredible world stage that has a 180-degree LED screen, the amphitheater style world stage. Awesome fitness center if you like to get up and have your morning routine up in the fitness center. We've got our retreat cabanas. This is on the Pinnacle class on the bottom left. This is the 2-tier Lido pool area, an awesome, comfortable, open area of deck space there, and the main dining room there, deck 2 of the main dining room, in fact. When it comes to the suites and staterooms, all of our staterooms have 25% or are 25% larger than other premium cruise lines. So you get that extra space. Regardless of the type of suite or stateroom you're interested in or you're curious about, I would highly recommend you speak with your CAA or AMA travel counselor. They are the experts in the different accommodations and the different layouts. One thing I would like to point out is with all of the balcony accommodations, whether it be verandas, Vista suites, Neptune suites, you will see a full-size balcony. I have to point that out because there are some areas of the cruise industry and the cruise world now where that's becoming less commonplace, where instead of a balcony, you have a floor-to-ceiling window that slides down, motorized, slides down. It's not a balcony, but more like an inside-outside solarium, but you're still in your stateroom. You're not stepping out for the sea air onto the open deck. We have those regular verandas, full-size verandas. There are a lot of sailings we could talk about, 400 ports of call, 114 countries. I do not have time to talk about them all. I wish I did. We'll be here till next Wednesday. However, what I will do is talk about some of those dates and some of those exclusive dates that have that CAA and AMA exclusive cruise pricing and extra benefits. And I'll tell you what all those benefits are. We'll run through them at the end. You're going to get lots of extra onboard spending money. But regardless of the itinerary you see, all of them will pick up those CAA and AMA member benefits and vacations amenities, primarily onboard credit as well. You're going to get extras on everything you see. I'm going to explain how that works, as I say, as we wrap up. But let's jump into some of these. A great place to start is Alaska. And I like to start with Alaska because it has a unique place for us. I see the ships. I can see the ships from, if I look out, crane my neck out of our bedrooms, I can look down at the port and see the ships sailing in and out throughout the summer months. They're a firm fixture on the horizon out of both Seattle and Vancouver. And it's always a joy to see them. And we've been sailing out of the Pacific Northwest and Vancouver for decades upon decades upon decades. A firm fixture in the community. And one thing with those Alaska sailings that I think is quite unique and I love to share is you've probably heard that we have priority access and additional access to areas of Alaska because of our permitting. We have extra permits, twice as many permits as other cruise lines when it comes to glacier access. And that is true. And the reason we have that is because we've been cruising to Alaska prior to Alaska being a state. That's going back, 75 years or so. And because we were cruising in Alaska prior to it being a state, that meant we were there prior to the national parks. And when those national parks were written into being, our access was grandfathered in. We take that as a huge honor and privilege, and we are very proud stewards of those national parks, the Glacier Bay National Park specifically here. And we'll talk about that in just a second. We have cruises and cruise tours. Cruise tours, by the way, akin to an Alaskan safari. These are land and sea. We're not going to touch on these today. If you're interested in a cruise tour, land and sea, perhaps all the way up to the Yukon, speak with your AMA or CAA travel counselor. They're experts on these. We're going to dive primarily into the cruises themselves. When it comes to the onboard experience, you may find with cruising in general in Alaska, it's some additional themed Alaska kind of motifs, but you could really be cruising it anywhere. That's not what we do. We really take that enrichment seriously and try and really deliver that authentic Alaskan experience on board ship with the National Park Ranger program, with the Native Voices program, the Huna native speakers, with the onboard naturalist, the Alaska Cruise and Travel Director. Whether you have a passing interest or a firm interest in the ecology, the history, the culture, whatever it may be, there's something there for everyone. When it comes to the culinary, this is really cool. We are the only cruise line that is certified serving sustainable and traceable Alaskan seafood. No other cruise line can boast that. And it takes a lot to meet that certification. We are audited very thoroughly on a very, very regular basis to meet that. We're very proud of that. We're also serving, when it comes to culinary, this is something that we like to talk about. Our glacial ice cocktails are served with actual glacial ice, which is sustainable, by the way. We don't have a crew member climbing a glacier to chip it off. The glacier is carved, and then they're sourced. The blocks of ice are sourced after the carving has happened. But this is really cool. You can enjoy it in a gin and tonic with some Holland America Line gin, our own range of gin, which is very delicious. When it comes to shore excursions, we only work with the best operators vetted to provide those incredible experiences ashore. I've mentioned glaciers. And you can experience glaciers on a shore excursion as an adventure, as much of an adventure as you like, as hands-on as you like, even drinking from a glacier. It doesn't have to be a cocktail. You can literally drink from a glacier hands-on. Dog sledding, flight seeing, one of the classic ways to enjoy glaciers is from the open deck during one of our glacier visits in Glacier Bay. I love this shot in the middle. That is from one of our retreat cabanas during a day in Glacier Bay. Now, Glacier Bay, I've already alluded to this, when it comes to our access to Glacier Bay and Glacier Bay National Park. To kind of put it in perspective, I think it's good for you to know the average time just any cruise ship in Alaska spends at a glacier is around 90 minutes, 2 hours. That's it. Then they're back out in the Gulf of Alaska, doing donuts. The casino's open. It's just a day at sea. You could be anywhere. That's not what we do. With Holland America, it is a full 6 hour real-time experience. At about 7 a.m., we pick up the national park rangers, and then there are 3 glacier viewings, wildlife sighting opportunities. I've seen brown bears on the beach in Glacier Bay. It's such a camaraderie in a community because everyone's sharing the sightings they've just had. It's unhurried, so you're not rushing, within a short space of time. It's just a wonderful day, and you're getting so much value rather than just being out there at sea. You're spending that time in Glacier Bay. We're going to talk about some Alaska cruises. One that I do want to flag up. This is one of those that is part of those CAA and AMA exclusive cruise pricing offerings, where there's extra amenities over and above the regular CAA and AMA benefits, thanks to the partner of the month and those exclusive departures. This is the Koningsdam sailing 7 days round trip from Vancouver. As I mentioned, the classic fixture on the skyline, iconic Holland America sailing out of Vancouver, docked at Canada Place. It is a classic site for all locals, and that's why we're considered a hometown cruise line for Vancouver. Now, it's not just the premium berthing in Vancouver itself on these sailings, it's premium berthing in places like Juneau, where we're docking alongside in berths 1 and 2, where you step off into the town square. Everything's there accessible, the restaurants, the shopping, the bars, the pubs. Mount Roberts Tramway right there. For other cruise lines, they have to dock further out, maybe berths 3 and 4, 5 and 6, or even out of the container port, which is a shuttle in. That's not us. We're giving you that premium berthing. Koningsdam sailing throughout the summer in 2026 and 2027. You've got those exclusive benefits that you won't find anywhere else when you book through your CAA or AMA travel counselor on this sailing. If you're looking for something a little bit longer, still pick up the regular CAA and AMA benefits. We have 14-day offerings out of Vancouver. Booking up very quickly as well, those 14 days. And something brand new that I want to flag up just so you have it on your radar are these new 18-day sailings. Again, round trip out of Vancouver all the way up into Anchorage. So we're docking downtown Anchorage all the way into Cook's Inlet for an overnight stay. So you can explore Anchorage, some very cool things you can do. Shore excursions, great culinary scene, breweries, great stuff there. Homer, Kodiak as well. This is a very special sailing. Okay, let's just switch gears a bit. I'd like to mention Europe, because Europe is where it all began for Holland America. We talked about the 150 years, and Holland America has roots that are alive and well today. We still have some aspect of our nautical operations that is still within the city of Rotterdam, and we are beloved as the national cruise line of the Netherlands as well. It's a part of the world that we've been visiting for many, many years, and we have 2026 and 2027 sailings open to book. So many folks from Canada at this point in time are booking these Northern Europe cruises. We are booking up very, very briskly for 2026 and 2027. I'm going to share with you some of my favorites and give you an idea of how they work. A few years ago, the average Northern European cruise length was 10 days, maybe 11 or 12. Now it's 14, based on demand, those longer sailings. And the great thing is, when you speak with your CAA or AMA travel counselor, they can use these 14-day sailings as building blocks to combine with other parts of Northern Europe for a 28-day sailing. You can make it a full seamless 28 days, should you so choose. There's options to sail out of Rotterdam or Dover, whether it's the Baltic, the Norwegian fjords, the British Isles, just like we saw. I love this picture, by the way. When I see this picture, it makes me think, wow, Holland America ships just look good wherever they are in the world. By the pristine majesty of the fjords, they just look perfect. You couldn't quite say the same thing if there was like a water slide and a roller coaster on top. That's great, but it wouldn't kind of fit to the same degree. Anyhow, I digress. But these sailings, you will see them in most cases with an embarkation and disembarkation option from Rotterdam or from Dover. You can take pre or post stays and pre and post packages either in the UK and the British Isles or mainland Europe as well. You have those options. We're also partnered with the History Channel, and you may have seen that logo flashed up earlier. The History Channel experts, we're experts. Together, we've curated some incredible sailings, and many of them you'll find in Northern Europe, especially in the fjords. We're there for the solar eclipses. There's a solar eclipse coming up this year in July. which you'll be able to take in. It's the best place to view a solar eclipse from the ship. We can position ourselves absolutely perfectly to view the eclipse, and then down in the Mediterranean or just off the Iberian Peninsula in 2027. They're booking up very quickly. Something else that's cool that's really happening with this Europe program in 26 and 27 is we're in the fjords, but we're staying there later. You wouldn't have seen this a few years back. We're there through November, all the way up to kind of late November, where we would, years gone by, already be back across the pond. We're there because of the Northern Lights. The perfect time for Northern Lights viewing. Also, it's a time of year where that part of the world takes on a whole kind of magic and majesty that you just have to be there to experience it. Those towns and villages, just charming and magical, like I say. And that's why we're there. That's why we're offering these new departure dates. Mediterranean, super quick, partnered with the History Channel. Some firm favorites for embarkation ports like Barcelona. The entire Mediterranean is built for you to mix and match Eastern, Western, to make shorter, longer cruises. Highly recommend 11-day Western, 11-day Easterns. You can make a 22-day combination if you so choose. Speak with your travel counselor on that. Okay, Canada and New England sailings. Wow, these have been popular for this summer and next summer. These are a selection of sailings where you will see those extra bonus onboard credits over and above the usual CAA and AMA benefits, and on a multitude of itineraries. Most departures in 26 and 27 in Canada, New England, you will see these. These are some ideas. I love this sailing on the left. Look at this. The 11-day Canada, New England, Maritimes and New France sailing. That's a very special sailing. 11 days, June 9th. You will see those benefits kick in when you book these Canada and New England sailings, either for this summer or the following summer. Legendary voyages. You may have seen this on the screen on one of the previous slides, and you've heard me mention it once. A legendary voyage. What is it? It's something we embarked on a few years ago, post-pandemic. And that's because they're, firstly, just so you know, they're longer cruises. And we've always been a cruise line known for longer sailings. But we noticed a trend. Post-pandemic, folks wanted to cruise longer. And we thought, wow, we're already known for our longer cruises. Let's do more of them and satisfy this demand. You know, call it revenge cruising, revenge travel. Some folks call it, I've heard it called a ski vacation. Spending kids' inheritance is the acronym. But they're longer sailings. And the great thing about this is it wasn't just a case of us coming up with longer sailings from scratch. That's why you see the classic image of New Amsterdam 2 on the screen here. Because what we did is we've gone back through the archives. We have a literal archive of itineraries that go back decade upon decade upon decade. We can go back through the archives, pull out a unique itinerary, bring it to life, sprinkle in some new magic with some extra themes on theme dates and theme days on the sailing, and create something special. They're sailings that are 25 to 60 days in length. I'm going to share with you some examples, and all of these will pick up the CAA and AMA member benefits, OBC, the onboard credit, the onboard spending money. Here's an example, sailing all the way up to Iceland, a lot of Maritimes, Newfoundland, overnight stay in St. John's as well, overnight stay in Halifax, overnight stay in Reykjavik, a real exploration of the Atlantic, North Atlantic this summer. A deep dive into the Mediterranean, late into the season where you really feel like a local that time of year in the Mediterranean. The crowds have dissipated a bit, the heat has dropped slightly, and you really can fit in like a local and have that no stone unturned experience. 35-day circumnavigation of Australia. We only do it once every 2 years. It's happening this coming November. Western Australia, as far as cruising is concerned, is quite often seen as uncharted territory because Australia is vast. Most cruise ships will not go that far west. We do it once every 2 years, which is very cool. Also includes Papua New Guinea as well. There's a 26 date and a 27 date for the Voyage of the Vikings. It's a Holland America classic, a rite of passage. This is the North Atlantic, British Isles included, the Fjords, Iceland. You have the Maritimes, Newfoundland, convenient from Boston. 35 days, all in one route, seamless, with some incredible overnight stays in Rotterdam and Reykjavik as well. Once in 26 for the solar eclipse, and then on the Volendam in 27. On 27, by the way, on a slightly smaller ship. With that ship being smaller, that indicates to us it looks like it will fill up ahead of schedule. And then we flip to the West Coast, something very similar, 28 days. This is something relatively new. It's been so popular. There's an option on one of the years here to embark out of Vancouver as well. And this sailing is really the granddaddy of all Alaska sailings, all the way up to the gates of the Arctic Circle. This is for those who really want that bucket list, bragging to their friends about their cool trip they've done to a part of the world that, is unheard of for many. Takes in those fabled ports like Nome and Dutch Harbor. Very, very cool sailing. The South Pacific, we have options out of Vancouver and San Diego, 35 days, 53 days, deep dives into the South Pacific, all the way through into early 2028. We have those options. This is something brand new. I'd like to just kind of, as we start to wrap up here, something I'd like to share with you. This is a sailing we've done before, typically once a year. The key difference here with this Amazon Explorer is it's on the Zuiderdam. Now, the Zuiderdam is one of our Vista class ships. The Vista class, that's the Zuiderdam, the Oosterdam, the Westerdam, and the Noordam. The 4 points of the Dutch compass, north, south, east, west. Those ships and the Signature class and the Pinnacle class, they all have 80% balcony accommodations. That means most of the rooms have a type of balcony, whether it's a veranda or a suite. That's what applies here to Zuiderdam. The ships that have sailed this sailing in the past were much smaller and didn't have balconies to that degree. The balconies were a different price point. With Zuiderdam, there's a much better availability for balconies. You can have this incredible Amazon sailing all the way down to Manaus with those views, enjoying the views from a balcony, which prior to this sailing was only enjoyed by a few who had a suite. Now it's open for any veranda, anyone who books a veranda or above. Having said that, this sailing, is booking well ahead of what we would call pace. It's pacing incredibly well would be an understatement. For a sailing that is 2 years out, more than 2 years out, it is booking up at such a blistering pace. I would not be surprised if this is sold out within the next 5 to 6 months. Make of that what you will. But if you are interested in this, I highly recommend it. Convenient. Pretty much most of us on this call have some type of direct flight into Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Super easy to get down there, jump on the ship, go. Wow, what an adventure. February 5, 2028. And one other legendary voyage I'm going to leave you with. I love this. This is so cool. Again, on the Zuiderdam, round trip Miami. This is to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Pan Am Clippers. Now, some of you may be familiar with the Pan Am Clippers. The Pan Am Clippers hark back to the days before the kind of cruising became what it is. There were no cruise ships, as it were, at that time. For a number of lucky folks, the Pan Am Clippers would hop around the Caribbean in that kind of enjoying the height of luxury, and they were known for stopping at certain ports and would take a certain route. And that's what we're bringing to life with this sailing. You've got those classic ports. These are just 3. And this is a recreation, a step-by-step recreation of the Great Circle route that the Pan Am Clippers would take. And this is just a perfect match. They're 2 Holland America and 2 heritage brands. When the Pan Am Clippers were in their heyday, Holland America was also out there sailing the 7 seas. It's a perfect fit, perfect match. That's a leisurely voyage to look out for. Again, booking up super quick. Caribbean. Perfect time of year to talk about the sunshine for all of us, especially for me today with all this slush. I was there just a month ago on our beautiful Koningsdam. This is gonna spark a very recent memory for me. With Holland America in the Caribbean, we don't really mix it up with the others in that busy, high traffic, 3, 4, 5 day mega ship world. That is a part of Caribbean cruising. That's not what we do. We are all about giving you that extra time, perfectly sized ships. We island hop. We're free of roller coasters and water slides. Not that those are bad things. That's great. A lot of folks enjoy those things. I think they're cool too. But for a lot of people, they kind of move on from that, find Holland America, and then the Caribbean takes on a whole new perspective. It isn't about the crazy crowds. It is relaxing. We're going to talk about a couple of itineraries here. All of them, by the way, visit our award-winning private island, Half Moon Cay. I was just there. I was walking. I could point with my pointer. If you can see my pointer on the screen, I walked all the way down the beach. I was here. I felt like I was a true castaway. I had the beach all to myself. That's the great thing about Half Moon Cay, a 2 mile crescent of white sandy beach. And there's so much fun on the island, but because it's vast, it can be as much of that idyllic castaway paradise, private beach experience. It can also be as much of a fun beach party as you like. We've got now got the pickleball courts, we've got the lobster shack, we've got the beach party, the cocktails, the umbrella drinks, all the water sports. It's all happening. But one of the reasons we win awards year after year is it kind of comes down to the size of Half Moon Cay. If you were to take all the private islands that you hear about in the cruise world, put them all together, and then kind of double that landmass, you would only then be around the size of Half Moon Cay. It's much larger, and it just feels spacious and has a wonderful authentic feel. When it comes to the itineraries, there are some in particular I'd really like to draw your attention to. This is, again, these are some sailings here where they not only receive those regular benefits that you get exclusively for being a CAA or AMA member, but on top of that, thanks to our Partner of the Month program through January and February and those exclusive CAA and AMA cruise pricing departures, you'll receive even more onboard credit, a real nice kind of slew of onboard credits. We'll talk about the amounts shortly. And those sailings in particular are these 14-day, what we call collectors voyages. What these are 2 sailings that are 7-day sailings that are back to back. There's only one repetition, and that is Half Moon Cay, which for anyone who's been there, or in this case, Grand Tug, but typically only Half Moon Cay. For anyone who's been there, that's never an issue. That's almost a cherry on top, the fact you can be in Half Moon Cay twice. But the great thing about these sailings, it's that 14-day cruise length. For snowbirds, it is a true getaway. 14 days during the winter months, absolutely perfect. Also, because of the nature of these collectors voyages, you're getting a substantial price break compared to if they were 2 7-day cruises on their own. When your CAA or AMA travel counselor combines them for you, the price drops and you get this kicker with the price break and then all of that extra onboard credit through your CAA and AMA exclusives. Awesome sailings. Some other Caribbean sailings I'll draw your attention to. I'm going to call out this one because I was on this early December on the Koningsdam, the ABC Islands. Wow, what a beautiful spot in the world. But yeah, I highly encourage you to look at these longer sailings, 9 to 14-day sailings. That's really what it's all about when it comes to the Holland America experience, whether it's combining those 2 7 days to make a collector's voyage or one of these pre-built 9 to 14-day sailings. With that, let's wrap up. As much as I would love to talk about all those other benefits and extras, I really don't have time. Maybe I'll come back and talk about the others at another time. I've been alluding to this all the way through. For CAA and AMA members, you receive what we call the CAA member or AA member Holland America benefits. That includes onboard credit, also extras on Alaska cruises. It combines with something called CAA or AMA vacations, which is another onboard credit. That gives you $100 onboard credit per person out the gates. And then when we look at these extra special sailings that have this unique CAA or AMA exclusive cruise pricing and these exclusive cruise benefits, it really takes a big bump when it comes to the value. You're getting even more exclusives. So first off, sailings that are sailing next summer 26, or sorry, this summer, I should say. We're already in 26. This summer through to next spring. Think Alaska, that Koningsdam sailing I've showed you, the Canada New England sailings that we looked at, those sailings in the Caribbean, those 14-day sailings we looked at a few moments ago over the period of next winter. These sailings will receive up to $675 of onboard credit, which is remarkable because you're picking up our current public promotion, the Wave promotion. You're picking up all the CAA and AMA extras along with the Have It All package. If you book the Have It All package, these are our most popular amenities at a discounted rate. When you book the Have It All package, that would include the signature beverage package, the dining, the specialty dining package, Wi-Fi, and shore excursion credits. They all come at a 50% discount. You're getting all this bundled in together. And The onboard credit amount may vary based on the sailing length and type of sailing you've booked, but you're going to get the very minimum around about 400 and then upwards per booking in that respect. So speak with your CAA or AMA travel counselor. They will be able to show you where the value is and pull in that value and give you a wonderful package with all those extras. That's through spring 27. Now, if you're booking further out, because I did show you some sailings that were all the way out into 2028, and the early bird gets the worm, so to speak. It's always good to book super early. And when you book one of those summer sailings or beyond, summer 27 sailings or beyond, you are picking up what we call the have it all early booking bonus. These are those have it all packages that are included, but this time you get the gratuities, what we call the crew appreciation. The packaging is upgraded, the elite beverage package, the premium Wi-Fi. You won't receive as much onboard credit because it doesn't pick up the public wave offer. Instead, because you're booking early, you're getting that extra value with the crew appreciation. There are a lot of benefits there, but like I say, don't worry too much about the specifics. Just know that whatever you book, whatever you've seen today, and whichever sailing you book with Holland America, you will receive those exclusive extras and those exclusive cruise amenities and cruise pricing through CAA and AMA. But I think the most important reasons to book with CAA and AMA go beyond just the offers and the exclusivity of these deals and these extras that you wouldn't get anywhere else. You won't get this anywhere else. You certainly won't get this booking directly with Holland America. We're passing on these extras for CAA and AMA to pass on to you as exclusive. You don't get them calling Holland America. But it's not just the extras that you get. It's also the expertise. The CAA and AMA travel counselors are absolute experts in Holland America. They have all the answers. They have all the access to the resources. They can do things for you when it comes to your bookings that would take you, could take you hours for you to figure out. They can do it quickly. They do it for you. So you haven't had to waste your precious time. But I think the most important thing of all is the fact they are real people in your community. They are a phone call away, an email away. You can stop by for a visit. You're not dealing, with someone in a call center hundreds or thousands of miles away. They're in your community. And I think that is absolutely priceless. So for me, that is ultimately the most important reason to be booking with them. With that said, I'm going to wrap up now. I'd love to stay for longer, but I do need to let you go. I know you have a busy evening. I am going to take a look at our chat here to see if any of you have put any questions in here. Let's have a little look. There are no questions, but before we wrap up, if any of you have questions, feel free to type them. Otherwise, I will bid you adieu. And if you do have questions that you'd like me to answer, you can send them to your CAA or AMA travel counselor. They can pass them on to me and I can answer any questions. No doubt they'll be able to answer themselves. But if you want me to look into that, and I can answer those questions for you as well. So that's it for me. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. And I hope to see you on a Holland America ship very, very soon. Take care.